This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the website right now and I clicked something I've never seen before and it just said basically other. And I'm looking and just in awe of the talent, the creativity. I'm referring to taxidermy, but this is a section where there is habitats and call it accessories in what you want them to work on. They are Leyba creations. And unlike anything you've ever seen before, it truly is art. Coming out of New Mexico, they work with anybody anywhere on the planet. And Cricket is from Leyba Creations, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Very well, and amazed as I look at some of these things that you have, what you can do within the creation of taxidermy. I mean, I am looking at what looks like snow and icicles coming off a piece of wood where, you know, you would put a form with the skin on it. It's so lifelike. All right, we're going to peel back the curtain here. How do you make the icicles look like that? How do you make the snow look like that?
Yeah, so it's funny because when we first started, we would buy a lot of this stuff that was basically already made, and we've learned to adapt to what we need with our mounts and make it more lifelike. We basically form every icicle. We use a lot of epoxies and two-part epoxies and stuff. Those, like when you touch those icicles, they're real pliable. They don't break off real easily. So like if you're in transport as well, they're not made to break. So, and we form those icicles to the mount, which is really neat. So it looks real lifelike as it's drying. It like even drips basically, and it looks like it's actually melting.
I'm gonna believe that whatever you concoct up, the formulation is just right. So there's a certain amount of cloudiness to it. There's a certain amount of drip to it, but it doesn't just drip. It's just a slow drip and then dries.
Exactly.
And that's what an icicle does. You know, when something is dripping and then it freezes. But there's just the right amount of white in there and the right amount of clear to make it look like it's legit. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have it's actually a little bit of cotton that you put in there, and you stretch your cotton and you make it drape over your habitat, and it just stretches out really cool, and it makes it really lifelike when it dries because it has a really good shine to it. And like you said, there's a little white in there, but then clear as well.
All right. So the cotton thing going on there, is that being mixed with the epoxy, and that's how you're kind of forming the snow too?
Yeah, so mainly just the icicles, and then the snow part, we actually use an artificial snow, and then we put some glues in there, and then you can form it to however you want. And you can even go to, I'm not sure if we have a picture on our website, but we've made it where there's even paw prints of like a cat walking through the habitat, and every little toe print is in there, so you can form that to what you want versus like, hey, I'm just going to buy this pre-made habitat and make the cat fit to it. We actually make the habitat fit directly to your animal, which makes that kind of pop more and look more realistic as well.
Looking at it right now on your website. Let me click the magnifying glass and go really close. I'm looking at the paw print. Wow.
That's awesome.
That really is cool. Like it looks like snow on a branch or a piece of wood or something. I've seen a lot of rocks.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so we do a lot of rock work. That's kind of one of our favorites in our shop and our kind of go-to, because they can send us pictures of exactly where they harvested their animal. And if they're on kind of a red bluff, or if they're on a grayer rock, or if they have a rock with a ton of moss on there, we can kind of match that. So, and with our rock, it's off of Habitat Rock. We order ours through there, and you can break them up. And that's why when you look at our pictures, every habitat is different. Everyone is colored different. There's little things that really pop, and this habitat rock comes in all kinds of different shapes. Like here's one here, and I mean from every little detail, and you can just break this stuff. It just breaks apart. And there's tons and tons of detail on this stuff. And what's neat is, we all, and even everybody in our shop, we have a young girl that works for us who she's amazing, and she does a lot of our coloring too. And but her coloring is different than mine, and so everyone can be a little bit different. And we like to get like these real dark areas, those accented more. And then if you've got like a moss growing on there, we can add that to it as well, and that really makes it pop a lot.
Mm. It's so funny. I'm thinking like you're holding that rock. If you were to, make it like I'm trying to lift it up here, even though it weighs like a couple of ounces, it would be believable because it looks so real. Wow, look at that.
Yeah,
Mm.
and you can even, so we get whole rocks as well, and they come in huge pieces. So if you're getting like a sheep and you want it a more whole piece that was molded to a large rock, and we can still, like, say if the hoof was not sitting perfect here, we can plaster and do our kind of in between rock work. Because as we break this apart, there's a very unique system that we use that where we seam it together. Because if not, you'd have holes. And when people walk in, they're like, that's not going to look right. But after it's done and we seam everything and we get the same texture as the rock and we color it, it just all works together and it all covers up. And seaming is very important. You want your seams super tight. And if you don't, you just got to be really good at blending the rock, your plaster and your material to blend into your rock.
Did I hear you before, Cricket, that you apply color to the rock to, I guess, make it look more lifelike?
Yeah, so we do so like myself, I do probably 6 to 10 colors on this rock. So first we go over with a base, which is watered down, and that gets in all your crevices. And you can even wipe your rock off after, and that gets like your real fine details to pop. And then we go over with a lighter, I go dark first and then I lighten it up as I go. So then I go with like a medium brown, and then I do kind of the same thing to kind of get different areas just to make it not so dark. And then we go with like a cream color and then a medium cream, like kind of a caramely color. And then the very last color, and it's you think it's not going to work. And the very last step is your most important step. And that's after your rock is 100% dry. Then we go over with a dry brush with no water on it, and
Yep.
just top edges, and that will get your accents on there. And I don't know if if you've noticed some of the rock where it's got like a shine on it or a lighter color on it. That's what really makes your rock fit and really accent.
So I'm curious now. You and your husband are the leader of your entire team. Um, how did this all come together? Because I didn't know that you were also, the artistic part of things as well. Yes, I thought maybe logistics and things like that, but I didn't realize that you're also painting things and doing that kind of stuff. So it seems like he was creative, you were creative, and that's kind of how this all happened.
Yeah, so and that's what works out so well with me and Lucas is Lucas he's definitely the artist when it comes to the taxidermy part. And he does all the mounting and the finish work on that end. And then I come in and I'm the habitat and then the fine details. For instance, after he paints with a airbrush. So every animal when we're done and it's fully dry, they get a light paint around the skin color on their eyes. Most of them do. And they get color either on their feet or, if there's any scars, they may take some color. And then I come in and I kind of fine tune everything because after he cleans the eyes and stuff and gets them super clean, you may wipe off a little bit of paint and I sharpen basically everything up with our pan pastels. And this stuff is amazing. This is like a game changer when it comes to finish work on your animals is our pan pastels, and we get ours from Matuska. They're incredible. They're a supply company we use. And you can change the color. So like I do a lot of the painting on the cat's noses, and I feel like I can be very meticulous about it. And you can just slightly change the tone, and fade things in and out really nice, and then like darken an eyelid, for instance. And you can really get the fine details compared to our airbrush, which is a lot harder to
Sure.
maintain those details.
Even right down to, and we've talked about this before, the nose is not the real nose of the animal. It's plastic or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Even inside the nostrils is going to be a different tone,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir. And like with us, we use different colors on a lot of different animals and stuff. And like you said, like here's a nose that we casted. Actually, I think we might have purchased this one from another taxidermist, which he is incredible. And they have casted a real bear nose. So that's what's really neat. And inside the nose, so there's still a little black in there, or pink in there. So we may brighten that pink up inside there and then fade it out and then darken the top of the nose. And like this one has a little bit of color variations in it, but you fix all of that after it's mounted. And I don't know if you can see that crease in there.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, that skin basically gets butted right up to that. And how you tuck everything in real clean is, makes your quality better. And like this, you can see every little crevice. I mean, it's so detailed compared to if you had the real nose, which kind of levels out. Because
Did I hear you say cast? So yes, this you buy things, but you've actually cast from an actual nose?
Yeah, so we've done that before where when we get a bear that somebody's harvested, we bring it in and say he has a scar on his nose and our customer says, "Hey, this is really important to me. I want to keep that scar on that nose." And
Wow.
we're like, "Okay, so what we'll do is we'll pour a cast over the nose and we can actually make it from that bear. And then we can reuse it as much as we want if we wanted something with a scar in it, or if you had a bear came in, or a cat or something, and you really like the shape of the nose, you can recast it, and then you'd be able to use that nose directly off of the cat. Even so, the other day we had to fix a horn, and we laid latex over another elk's horn, and that as well, you can even basically cast that and use those for the detail on other things, say if you're fixing a horn and you need those details and bumps into that horn, we can cast and create our own, you know, like noses
Amazing.
or stamps.
One of the first things I wondered about way back in the day when it comes to taxidermy is the eyes. So always wondered, is that really an eye or it's not? Well, it is, but
Yeah.
it's not real.
Yeah, we always we get questions if we're using the real animal and especially teeth and stuff, and we're like, no, it's all fake and artificial and stuff. And the same thing with our eyes. They're all artificial, and you can buy cheaper eyes and you can buy really good eyes, and you just kind of got to find out what fits best for yourself. So like this one here, we've got a bear eye, and I know it's in a package, but and they're real dark. And each eye is basically for an animal. So, and there's a lot of different companies that are created, that have created a bunch of different eyes. And like for instance, this one here, that's an elk eye.
Wow.
But notice, no, and there's different shapes as well that you got to figure out what you like. And this one here has a white band around it, which is one of our favorites for our elk. And if you've noticed some mounts, they have like a white line around it. And I think it makes the mount pop a little bit more. And usually if it's more aggressive, you'll see more white in the eye. Or I don't know if you've ever seen a mount where it's a lot of people mount when they're face on, but when you get an animal that's looking off to the side, you have to get those eyes level and move correctly at a different angle, and those the whites of those eyes will start to show, and that's important.
Wow. There's not a lot of white in that eye that you're holding.
No, this one just has a little bit. You can get ones that have more around the edges
Hmm.
as well. There's some that have like veins in them and they're red, as well,
Right.
if they're real aggressive or something. And also we have some eyes for our cats that are really popular. And we get them from Matuska as well as a reflective eye. And they have a slight reflection in it where it kind of glows, but it's only a little bit where it's like you're walking by and you see like a glow of a green and kind of it where that light hits perfect, and it'll make you really draw it to the eyes of the mount, which is really neat, especially in cats and bears.
So you mentioned teeth. Do
Yep.
you, when it comes to the mouth, is that fully set up or mostly set up with the teeth and everything, the tongue, artificial again?
Yep.
Or do you do some, I guess, taxidermy, cosmetic dentistry, to add teeth or take
Yeah.
away or change it up?
Yeah, so most of the time we use those mouth inserts, the cups. But like I think I have one here. So like this guy, so we use the more mouth cups. And say we had somebody come in and had a cat that the tooth was broken off. So that's when we would actually adjust the mouthpiece, and we could take plenty of pictures of the cat when they had gotten it, or have the skull handy because we do the Europeans as well. Then we can adjust this tooth to match exactly what the cat looks like, and then we can do some pastels and coloring on it where it really matched up nice. Yeah, because we can adjust these a little bit to make it kind of fit what your cat or your bear or whatever what it looked like.
Now, when you purchase it, is the teeth all one color, and then you change it based on what you're feeling for the particular animal at that time?
So the teeth are they're basically the color that what a normal cat looks like. If you had a cat, for instance, a lion like this, if you had one that had a rotted out tooth, we would have to change all that. We would have to Dremel it. We use a lot of Dremels as well. And we can basically carve into this because it's just plastic. And we would do the coloring on it. But otherwise, it comes really nicely colored already.
Wow.
And not everybody uses these mouth inserts because they're a lot more expensive, but it's worth it, just because of the quality and the color. And I mean, you just tuck everything into them and it's very lifelike.
Amazing. Now, we're looking at that form of a head. What kind of animal is that? As a cat?
This is a mountain lion.
Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Um,
And yeah, and you can kind of see the detail onto it, before my husband gets a hold of it and completely takes everything off.
yeah. Like you wouldn't like in the nose section, not just the nostrils, but going up. It's folded up as if the animal is snarling. So you're going to have those folds within the nose. Are you really even going to see that once you put the skin on top of it?
You really do. For instance, this one already has the folds. If my husband went off of this, he would deepen these and making them a
Ah,
lot more dramatic and clay them. And then which he cuts all this off and redoes all the clay work, and then he goes over with his own wrinkles. And yeah, you definitely see them. You can even, I mean, it's all up close, but you can tell that there's some wrinkles and details there, and you can see that it's an aggressive. And it's amazing. There's some people that like them super aggressive, and he'll put a more drastic clay work on there, which will have a bigger wrinkle. Or he'll have some that just want more of an open mouth, and he may put just a little bit of a wrinkle on there. And then your eyes, how your eyes are closed and open. I mean, every little hairline basically makes a different expression on these things. And you can change one wrinkle and it can have a totally different look to it.
I think that's what radically makes Leyba Creations different is the attention to detail. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. If you go on the website, you can really see the detail right down to like every hair. Like everything is just meticulous. And this is why it takes a little bit longer for you to get stuff done, but that's what you get. You want it to look
Yep.
lifelike. You got to wait. Good things are worth waiting for. Wow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's true. And I love the fact on your website that you can zoom in. You have that function where you can look a little bit deeper. And even, price wise on your website, yes, it's more than other places, but not crazy in terms of price for what you get. You've harvested a certain animal. It's going to be with you forever, maybe passed down for
Yeah,
generations. Why not make it right? Why not make it
exactly.
lifelike? It takes time. It truly is art.
Exactly. It is. It definitely is art, and everybody has their unique way of doing things, and that's what makes taxidermy really neat. Is you can see the difference from one taxidermist from another. Not that it's, you could just see the way they work with things, which is really neat.
I'm looking here, and I find it interesting that it gets and you share prices on the website right down to, well, you know what? I want detachable antlers. So are you saying that okay, I'm going to keep the antlers on the piece. A month two later, I'm going to take them off. You can do that?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. We have
Wow.
a lot of outfitters and customers that when they go to take their animal, like for instance, we had a customer show up last week and the bull scored way much over 350, which in terms of scoring, that's how you score an elk is the length of their antlers per tine and width and everything. And it was a very large bull and they were able to just pop the horns off, fit it in the SUV and drive home with it. And they didn't even have to pay a shipper to come get it. So the detachable antlers came in super handy. And it's pretty simple. There's a rod that runs up into the horn and we set the rods before we cut the antlers off. That way, nothing changes on that score of the animal. Because some people, if they've harvested this animal and worked their whole lives on it, I mean, number one priority should be your meat harvest. But it's awesome when you get a big mature animal and they're able to take it on and off and hang it on the wall very easily or transport it really easy.
Amazing. So cool. Like this section of the website, pricing and all of that, had no idea what to expect, but it gets into very, very deep detail. Again,
Yes.
custom. Share with everybody. What's your website?
So it's leybacreations.com.
Awesome. Cricket, thank you for today. Thanks for sharing all of this, right down to, like the habitat. It's like the secret sauce, and I appreciate that. Looking forward next time we get together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.